Hi, good evening. So presenting you the evening briefing for today, which is 23rd of November. And so here's the FII activity, largely a seller on the derivative side, but they have bought slightly on the cash market. So if you look at FII cash market buying, slight buying 255 crores. And if you look at the DI cash buying, this is about 457 odd crores, as you can see here. The index future, we saw a sell of 553 odd crores. And this is largely on the Nifty futures being expiry today. The FII index, we saw a sell of 42,030 crores, but again, that would be largely Nifty. So we would ignore the data for today for Nifty because it was an expiry, so would not make sense. There's some of the market movers from the equity side, if you look at. So we had, as you can see, we had AID Parry, Hind Petro, Praj, ABA, FRL, and PCBL. Some of the losers on this counter are TI India, Cipla, Vijaya, JB Chem Farm, and Home First. Cipla, there's some news coming out that from the US on the US FDA front, which one needs to check that out. So some of the stocks which are outperforming versus the Nifty 500 are Tata Invest and Ratan India. Ratan India has been making some interesting moves, so one should definitely watch that out. Varroc seems to be an interesting play here on the technical front. Some of the brokerage houses are also giving it a buy signal, so you must go and verify this on your own. This is definitely not a recommendation, but largely from a technical perspective, as you would see. Rajesh Export, Motilal OFS, as you can see, and BSE. Out of this, Rajesh Exports seems to be at quite a low price and possibly has wiped off about 100% of its movement. So from 800 to 400. So this is something that should be on your watch list. Rajesh Exports is engaged in selling gold to central banks. And if you look at their presentation, they sell about 700 to 800 tons of gold every year. So selling gold to central banks like the Federal Reserve or the RBI. So this is something that you can check on the volume front, and volume is important because volume is the fuel for the stock. So it's like a fuel in the car. So you have Home First, Quest, ABFRL seems to be showing some movement here, and Deepak Nitrite, which must be verified technically before you take any decision. Let's move on to some Nifty heat map as to how did it perform. So mixed reaction here, as you can see, a set of green and red, and largely red, and you have seen it the performance today. It also could not cross the crucial level of 19,900, and most of our bet was placed around that level. Bank Nifty heat map, if you look. Now, Nifty and Bank Nifty have been performing differently, especially if you talk about today. Nifty was above the VWAP, Nifty was below the VWAP, hovering around the VWAP, but with a slightly bearish outlook. So largely below the VWAP, whereas Bank Nifty, what we saw at some during most of the day was above the VWAP. Two of the banks were did not perform, so Kotak Bank and PNB. Otherwise, rest of it is in green, so largely green day from the underlying perspective for Bank Nifty. If you look at the volatility chart, the volatility seems to be carried forward to the next week also. So 16th was it was a volatile week. So we saw that volatility getting carried to 20th week, 23rd expiry, which is today. 30th seems to be slightly lower on the volatility front, and hopefully we'll understand better as we move into the expiry. So tomorrow and Monday we'll see as to how this chart shapes up, but seems the volatility may settle down. This acts settling of the volatility acts well for some of the strategies like short and condor, but please do not do that if you don't understand. And as you understand, options are risky. One needs to understand it, practice it for multiple years before you can actually get into it. Some of the top F&O movers where you can build your strategies, but you need to know what strategies to build, so that you'll have to master or learn. Hind Petro, ABFRL, Hero MotoCorp, Deepak Nitrite, and PI Industries. Out of this, I'll be covering ABFRL and Hero MotoCorp movements tomorrow in the evening briefing sessions, which you must check out and try and build some strategies there. Cipla could be a good case study for us to study, so I'll present it tomorrow. On the OI gainers, we are seeing Cipla expected, and some of the chemical industries or the pharmaceutical industries, PI industries, Zydus Life and Chambal Fertilizers. So some action on the chemical and the pharma side. The top OI losers are MCX. MCX, given the lot sizes and given the movement, if you do it nice, it could be something that you can explore, but obviously you have to know what to do. On the long build-up side, we have TVS Motors, BPCL, Bosch Limited, HAL and Atul Limited. And on the short covering side, so Coromandel, Zeal, AU Bank, FGI Bank Nifty. Please do not short where the short covering is happening. Please do not short those counters because you could be in for a trap. Some of the short build-up are being seen on Naukri, Oro Pharma, as you can see here, Polycab, Zydus Life and Lupin, and the long unwinding on. So these are the counters where the bigger players are exiting. They are closing their long positions, and it must be read accordingly. On the open interest front, you saw that the resistance was at 19,800. Obviously, the MaxPrint data also suggested throughout the day that the expiry could be somewhere around 19,800, and a number that you should watch out carefully. On the FII's front, FII also for today seems to have built their short position on the futures open interest. The quantity remains the same, so no major change in the view. It remains negative on the longer frame. Not an intraday frame, but overall, if you look at the market structure, it remains negative. Some of the stock options which showed unusual activity included Hero MotoCorp, and as I said, I'll present a case study on this one. Cipla could also make a good case study. Bajaj Auto has been making a move, so some good action on the automotive side of it, given the underlying dynamics and the report, a positive sectoral report coming on automotive sector, which you must explore. Some of the important announcements. So Lupin has received US FDA approval, and you saw Lupin as one of the top OI rankers. And there are two news on Lupin as you saw. Coal India has also registered an increase. So increase on the mining activity side of it, which odds well for it. Varun Beverages has seen some management change and has appointed Mr. Vishwas Agarwal as the Chief Operating Officer, CEO. Now moving to the, we'll move on to the analyze the Nifty movement, and let me see if I can bring the chart in front of you. So just give me 1 second before we pull this in. Yeah, so here we go, and I have already the chart which is mapped out for you, and let me just bring in the yes. So I'll use the markup here to sort of plot some interesting movements. So if you've seen this 19,885 remained 880 sort of remained a crucial level, and this is the resistance that we have seen in the last couple of days. So if you just drag this behind, you'll see that 19,880 seems to be the resistance. The data that we had plotted here, the movement that we had plotted here was based on yesterday's movement. Let me just give you a quick overview here. So this was the day high. Yes, so if you look at yesterday's movement, this is yesterday's, so previous day high. Let me just plot this out for you, and this is previous day low. It largely remained above the previous day high, or rather I should say that it consolidated around the previous day high. Most of the movement was on the consolidation side of it. It did make a gap up, tried to breach slight gap up here, and did try to breach 19,800. So 19,900 is an important level for both institutional and retailers that you must watch out carefully. Otherwise, it has largely been a consolidation day, as is visible from the chart. So try and read this in this way. The video is largely for educational purpose, so that you can gain out of this one. And if your technical analysis skills are correct, possibly this will help you in understanding what the movement is. So what could be the possible movement for tomorrow? Let me just plot out before we wrap this up. So obviously this is one of the movements. This is the day high and daily. So one possibility is that goes around 19,880. The second possibility is cracks down with a gap down possibly. Third possibilities, which are the larger possibilities, sort of goes down and then consolidates around these levels. The fourth possibility is moves up and then consolidates somewhere here. This movement is equal to 100 points, which is not a very significant movement given how the VIX is playing out and given how the Bollinger Bands are playing out. We could expect larger movements. More on this as you read it in the live market. But given the Bollinger Band placement of Nifty, seems we can need to expect larger movements. Since it has largely been a consolidation day today, expect some bigger movements. Which side? No one can tell you. But please wait for some large red or green candles before you enter in the market. So take care. God bless you. Thank you.